Okay, welcome to Quest 6 of my campaign playthrough series for HeroQuest. This recording is a bit different from the ones I've done in the past. Unlike previous installments in this series, I am not live streaming as I record this. I'm still going to try and keep it pretty unedited, just mostly for my own sake. But when the live stream I had planned, I got sick for, and the rest of my schedule for months is going to be busy, and I'm just going to have to fit stuff in here and there as I go along as far as recording for tabletop gaming content. So I'm just doing this whenever I can, excuse me, during my workday. So I may not record for as long of stretches as I've streamed for in the past. So if you see my shirt change or something like that, that's because I'm just squeezing in short little sessions of recording wherever I can to get this done. But we are on Quest 6, Legacy of the Orc Warlord, in my solo playthrough, in which I'm modifying a bunch of rules, bringing monsters in from mainly Descent First Edition and recreating stats for them. There's a link below this video to give you to take you to Board Game Geek, where you can get my stats for all the monsters. Although I have been little by little updating my rules. I really don't put my solo rules and my modified rules out there as suggestions for you, because I think a lot of people would dislike them for the way that they change the balance of the game. This is just a video of me playing with my toys and inviting you to watch and see if it kind of triggers some ideas that you might enjoy that you can modify for your own purposes. But I'm modifying my homebrew rules as I go along. It's very experimental. I do think that I'm pretty happy with a lot of what I've done, but I'm still modifying things. I made some adjustments to my random treasure table before sitting down to record this time, made some adjustments to a few little things. One thing that's a significant change is each of my monsters and heroes, but the monsters have a special ability that in the past they could choose to skip their attack on their turn and instead roll a d6, and if they roll a 4 through 6, then their special ability would trigger. So a 50-50 chance. But I think over time I was just finding that my heroes were having a little bit too easy of a time, maybe just by a hair. I do like my heroes to be powerful. I don't play games for challenge, really, but more for that power fantasy and being immersed in a world. But I was still feeling like, I just am getting a lot of healing potions. And so I've made a little bit of a change to the monsters to make their special abilities trigger a little bit more easily. So it'll now be on a 3 through 6 when they do that. I don't know how much that's going to increase the difficulty. That's just going to depend on how I've balanced each individual monster's special abilities. So there's just a lot of variables that could keep this from being quote-unquote balanced. But I've also changed. What did I change about when I loot monsters? In the past, what I've done is roll a d6, because I like looting monsters in RPGs. So I wanted to bring that into HeroQuest. So every time I kill a monster, I roll a d6. On a 5, I would get 25 coins, and on the 6, I would get a potion of healing. And I was really racking up a lot of potions of healing that way, which I think is what was helping the heroes be so much more equipped than I'm used to them being in this game. For example, my Barbarian currently has 3 potions of healing, the Elf has 2, the Dwarf has 2, and the Wizard has 2. So everybody right now has plenty of potions of healing. I'm not necessarily reducing the amount of potions of healings that they could get, but I did want to change up the variety potential a little bit more. So now, on a 5, when I roll that d6 to loot a monster, instead of just getting 25 gold coins as a standard, that was getting boring pretty fast, I'm instead going to draw a card from the treasure deck. Thematically, that's not going to work in every situation. I think most of the things that the flavor text says would still work okay for while you're searching a monster's body, not the best. But hazards definitely won't feel appropriate. You know, if a trap springs, the floor falls just while I'm searching a dead orc's body. So instead, I'm just going to, for now, discard the bad cards of any kind, and then nothing happens when I do that. So I guess that's a brief overview of some of the changes I've made. I've been forgetting a lot to trigger or roll to trigger, see if I trigger traps when I enter a new room or corridor. I'm trying to do that, but I've cashed in now all of my points. In my rules, I get a certain number of points for traps as I cash them in. And part of that is to preserve the surprise of traps. I mean, otherwise, the way HeroQuest works, if you're playing solo, I'm just going to see all the traps on the board. So I remove all of them, and they have a threat token value. And then that pays for the cost of random traps that could appear when I enter a new room or corridor. Let's see here. Also, in this quest in particular, well, let me see. Are there any other rules I want to go over that I've changed since the last time you've maybe tuned into this series? I don't think so. Nothing super significant. So let's get into the flavor text for Legacy of the Orc Warlord. It reads, Ulug's foul offspring, Grak. And if you don't remember, Ulug is the Orc Warlord that you took out in a previous quest. Ulug's foul offspring, Grak, has sworn revenge on those who killed his father. Although it has taken him several months, he has finally tracked you down, all 4 heroes, and captured you in an ambush. Now you are all held prisoner in his dungeons, while he decides when and how you will meet your fate. While the guard sleeps outside your cell, you manage to pick the lock with an old rat bone. You must find your equipment and escape to the stairway. Now, when I am playing solo, surprise is really difficult to preserve. That doesn't bother me too much, but I like to look for ways that I can compensate for that in some way. In the case of secret doors, that's not really relevant in this quest. There's no secret doors, but I've changed those to locked doors that heroes have to quote-unquote disarm in order to get through. So that can still be a slight stumbling block if they're in the middle of combat or something like that and wanting to get out. I don't know. It's mostly a thematic change so that the idea of secret doors isn't completely lost. But in this quest, I mean, even though I don't go out of my way to read what's on the map and the notes on the map and know what's going on and stuff, I am familiar enough with this quest that I know where to go to get these weapons. My heroes are in the cell right here, and I need to go up here to get those. And I also don't mind kind of allowing myself to make a beeline to get my equipment, because one of my least favorite things in comic books or other stories is to have, or other settings, is to have a hero that you're used to having certain kinds of powers. I hate this in video games too. And then the gimmick of a level or an episode or an issue of the comic or whatever is take their powers away. Are they still a hero without their powers? I'm sure they're great people. I'm sure they'll summon up within themselves the courage, blah, 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 blah. They'll make it happen. But I bought this comic book so I could see a guy shoot lasers out of his fingers. So, and that's why I play games, again, for a power fantasy. And so, we're going to get out of the cell. We're going to make a beeline to the room. We're going to kill that goblin. And, of course, I could, after that, make a beeline to the exit. But as I've said in the past in this series, I am like an old school dungeon crawler in some particular ways, and one of those is you make a clean sweep of the dungeon. You don't leave the dungeon until you've cleaned out every room of monsters for XP, or in this case loot, or treasure that might be found. That's just how it's done. It is a philosophical worldview. All right, so we're going to start with the Barbarian's turn. And I can move 6 or roll 12. I guess I'll just move 6 for now. So he's going to go 1 and then open the door. Put this here. And then he'll go 2. And now while I'm remembering, since I have all this threat to use, let's roll and see. On a skull or a black shield, I will have to trigger the most expensive trap that is legal for me to put down in this. So let's see. Okay, so a skull, nothing happens. So that was just 2 spaces so far. We're going to go 3, 4, 5, 6. And let me make sure my camera's in a good spot to catch this action for a while here. All right, so that is the Barbarian's turn. I've been forgetting, even though I'm less likely to get caught up in my thoughts, I use these, less likely to get caught up in my thoughts when I'm not live streaming. I don't know. I think I'm still multitasking enough. It's going to be hard. So yeah, I use these to keep track of my turns. I still go in what I call the traditional bedwetter order: Barbarian, Elf, Dwarf, Wizard. But sometimes when I'm streaming and stuff or recording like this, the multitasking quickly gets the better of me, and I just lose track of my train of thought altogether. That is bound to happen. So let me get these. Where is that last one? Let me just dump these out here. There it is. Okay. So that will be a helpful little bit of bookkeeping for me. So that was the Barbarian's turn. Now the Elf's turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he's done. Dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he'll just body surf up here, I guess. And nothing yet to reveal, but let's go ahead and roll and see if a trap triggers on the dwarf. Oh wait, no, I do have some stuff to reveal. There is... way down this corridor here, a single door. I don't think there's anything down... oh wait, yeah. We would see the other door by now. In the equipment room down there. Okay, so let's see if something triggers. No, it's got to be a... oh, hold on. I said last time it was a skull or a black shield. Not a white shield or a black shield. So I should have triggered one last time. I got a white shield this time. Let's trigger the trap, because I should have triggered one last time. So, there goes 5 threat. Man, see, I can't even keep my own rules straight. And certainly not the official rules. Okay, so that's going to be a pit trap, which he can, I think, try to dodge. I can't remember how I usually do this. If I just spring it, let's look at my rules here. Trap generation. Anytime during a player's turn or his own turn, Zargon may remove a number of threat tokens from his play area to spring a trap on an unsuspecting hero. So that's what's going on here. These rules are made for a co-op game, but I have to trigger them the way I'm doing them now instead of choosing when, because it's a solo game. The targeted hero must roll 1d6. Okay, so that's what's up. If he rolls a number less than his current mind points, I like this little bit of rule creation on my part because it makes mind points more relevant, especially in the base game. I've always wanted mind points to matter more. If he rolls a number less than his current mind points, he successfully avoids the trap, but I still place a marker for the unsprung trap on the board. Alright, so less than his current mind points, the dwarf has 3 mind points, and I rolled a 4. So the trap springs, he falls in, loses a body point, and now, dang it, all the heroes are going to have to jump this trap. That sucks. Alright, so that brings the dwarf down to 6 body points. His turn is over. It's time for Eldoras the Wizard to enter the scene. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing really exciting that he's going to do. So that is the end of his turn. No monsters on the board, so Zargon gets a threat. Although I think I'll just give myself a threat every turn. I think that there was a softer version of those rules. I can't remember. I'm playing this with my nephews every 1 or 2 months, and I modify the rules. I've made them a little bit softer for them, and then I ramped them up to make them a little more difficult as they got more familiar with the game. So I can't remember what I've been doing. I'll just try to give myself 1 threat every turn. Like I said, if anything, I'm wanting to maybe up the challenge a little bit. Okay, so what the crap just happened? He fell in, that was his turn. Oh, no. Zargon's turn, threat. And now we go back to the hero's turn. Flip all their tokens. Okay. So now the Barbarian. Let's see, he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all for him. Elf. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dwarf climbs out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then... oh, did I forget to jump for the elf? I did. Dang it. So let's roll for the elf. Now the elf has the ability Acrobat that I made for him. It says the elf may move through enemy figures, but must end his movement in an empty space. After ending his movement, the elf player individually rolls 1 combat die for each enemy space he moved through. On a skull, the enemy gains a free attack against the elf, who may roll defense dice. Now, there's an asterisk on this because I think in the entry for the ability. Oh, here we go. Yeah. The asterisk refers to an addition that I made. He avoids sprung traps on anything but a white shield. So let's check that out and see what happened. Okay, yes. So skull, he's good. So now we can move on to the wizard's turn. 1, 2, 3. Come on now. No skull. Yeah, black shield. Okay. 4, 5, 6. End of his turn. Zargon gets a threat. We cycle back around. Flip everyone's tokens. And let's get our camera a little closer to the action now. That's pretty good. All right, Barbarian, lead the charge. He's going to go 1, 2, open the door. I imagine him just bursting in naked. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't say they didn't have any clothes. They don't have their armor, their weapons, you know. But I just like the idea of like a crazy naked barbarian charging at enemies. So 1, 2, opens the door. Let's set up the room here. We've got a cabinet there. And a weapons rack here. Very appropriate for the room that we're going to find our equipment in. And now I've got on the map a goblin, but I've got a conversion table to potentially add other monsters instead. Also eligible right now would be a goblin archer, but I don't really see an advantage to doing that because I don't need him to be a ranged character. So I'll just put a traditional goblin out for now. Go. All right. Let's take a look at the mini. Always pretty impressed with just kind of like the quality of these. Come on, focus in here a little bit. Come on, work with me. Is that going to focus? No, maybe not. Too close. All right, camera doesn't want to obey. Anyway, always still appreciate how ahead of their time the quality of these minis was. Okay, so Goblin, let's look at the stats for him. Mainly his special ability. That's the one thing that would be different. And he has the ability Steal, which means, if I remember correctly, I should probably look this up again. Steal. Targeted hero loses up to 25 gold. So he could try to do that. He probably won't, but it's not his turn anyway. So Barbarian went 1, 2, open the door, and then 3, 4. Now at this point, the notes for the quest say that a hero with no weapons or armor rolls 1 die to attack and 2 dice to defend. However, one of the modifications, this wasn't my idea. Someone had posted this online. I can't remember where I ran into this, but they give the Barbarian 1 extra die that is added on to any weapon that he's using. They start him out with a weaker weapon than the description says to start him with. So he starts out with the same number of attack dice as the base game would say, but his upper potential for damage is always greater. And I like that because there's not much that differentiates him from, say, the dwarf as you get deeper into the game. Once you've got them both kitted out with the best weapons, the dwarf basically has an extra mind point, 1 less body point, and he can disarm traps. And so that I feel like that doesn't really justify the Barbarian being his own character class, you know. So what that means now is he gets to roll 2 combat dice to attack this Goblin. And you know what? Do I want to use Berserker Rage right now and just make this happen? No, that's all right. I'll save it for later. I don't think we need it that badly. So here we go, Barbarian. 1 skull, and the Goblin, I think, just rolls 1 defense dice, right? Yeah, just 1. Let's see here. Yeah, a white shield is not going to do it, so he's gone. Let's roll a d6 for potential loot, and we don't get anything. So that's the end of the Barbarian's turn. Well done, Barbarian. And he immediately gets access to all of his equipment again. And his turn is over. So now the elf is going to go in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gets his equipment. 5, 6. And his turn is over. Dwarf. 1, 2, 3. Huh. Now let's go 3. Right here. And let's search for treasure in this room. Maybe there's some other hero's equipment that got left in this room. We gotta see. So we're gonna draw from the deck. Oh crap, it's a wandering monster. I won't read the card every time, but I'll read it this time. As you are searching, come on camera, you gonna help focus a little bit more? As you are searching, a monster stalks you and attacks. Zargon places the wandering monster listed in the quest book on any square next to you. The monster attacks immediately. Return this card to the bottom of the deck. All right. So the wandering monster, I believe, is a Fimir for this quest, and these guys are no joke. Probably one of the most powerful types of monsters, at least in this quest. So there's the mini for this guy. Come on, work with me, camera. A little more. All right, that'll do. So we'll put him right here. And let's take a look at his special ability. Oh, that's right. He's got Grapple. Otherwise, his stats are the same. I don't really change the base stats for the monsters that originally come with HeroQuest in my rules. Grapple. Targeted hero may not move, attack, cast spells, or roll defense dice until this creature is dead or no longer adjacent to the hero. At the start of the hero's turn, while grappled, he may roll 1d6. If the result is lower than the hero's starting body, the grapple is broken, and they may move the grappling creature 1 space in any direction. If it is not possible to move the creature, the grapple is still broken. So, using that, the hero's starting body is my attempt at trying to create an approximation of a strength stat in this game, and I feel like starting body in this game generally would go along with a strength stat. But I'm not going to have him grapple because that's really only going to be useful when there's another monster around that can take advantage, because the Fimir is going to be busy grappling him. He can't actually attack while he's also grappling. So with no other monsters around, he's not going to try to grapple. He's just going to do a straight-up attack. Let's get a reminder of what his stats are. Attack of 3, defend 3, body 2, mind 3, and move 6. So he's going to bring those 3 attack dice to bear on the dwarf. And he gets 3 skulls. Good gravy. The dwarf just got his equipment back, so that means he rolls with 4 defense dice. Let's see here. He got just 1 white shield. So, yeah, he takes 2 points of damage, and he already took 1 from the trap, dang it. So he's down to 4. That's the end of the dwarf's turn. Okay, Wizard. Wizard's gonna stay put. Eldoras is not getting in the mix here. He's gonna let his underlings take care of the monsters for him. So that is the end of the hero round. Fimir. Yeah, I think he's just gonna keep pounding on this dwarf. He's already got a good start on him, so why not? Again, 3 attack dice. Oh man, total whiff. Completely misses. So that's the end of Zargon's turn. Let me give myself a threat, though. I want to try and remember to do that. Back to the Barbarian's turn. Okay, well, Barbarian's going to attack. I mean, what else is he going to do? He's got a battle axe, so that means he gets 4 plus 1 for a total of 5 combat dice right there on that Fimir. And he only got 1 skull, dang it! Jeez Louise. The Fimir rolls 3 defense dice. Good chance that he'll be able to block this 1 skull. But he doesn't, so he takes 1 hit. I'll put a little token out here to remind us of that. Because he has 2 body points, so 1 more and he'll be dead. But not quite yet. That's the end of the Barbarian's turn. Dwarf right there. But the Elf can get in there too, and the Elf's turn is first. So let's actually get him in there. 1, 2, 3. Getting a little cramped. Has he been in here yet? Well, he's got his equipment now, either way. And that includes a crossbow, so he can fire diagonally to reach this Fimir. That was maybe some upgrading that I did. I can't remember. I think after I streamed last time, I made my purchases right away. Or did I do that while I was still on the stream? I can't remember. But I didn't have any money left over when I got my stuff out this time to buy anything, so I assume I must have taken care of that at some point. So maybe, so I think it's kind of new for more than one of my characters to have crossbows, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so 3 combat dice to attack with the crossbow, and that's going to be just 1 skull. Fimir again gets 3 to defend, and does not manage to block it. So the Fimir is gone, and we'll roll for loot. And we got a 5. What is that again? I draw from the treasure deck. Let's see what we got. Ooh, found a heroic brew on the Fimir. You are surprised to find a leather bag hanging on the wall. If you drink its content... Well, not hanging on the wall. We found it on the Fimir's corpse. If you drink its contents before you attack, you can make 2 attacks instead of 1. This may only be used once. Do not return this card to the deck. Heroic Brew. Does he have one of those already? No, he doesn't. So let's make a little note. HB. And he's got 1. Very nice. Good find. Good find. Alright, so that's the end of the Elf's turn. Dwarf is going to start moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll just jump past the wizard here. Wizard, getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got his stuff. 6, back out again. Now the rules, it really didn't become relevant, but the rules say, like, your elf and your wizard can't cast spells until they get in there, and I always had problems with that. Especially since it says... after they go into the equipment room here, the wizard and elf may again cast spells once they enter the room and reclaim their magical powers. No. So we need to update that. And let's say, and reclaim their spell-casting components, right? Come on. I mean, if we're using a Vancian magic system anyway in HeroQuest, where you kind of have 1 spell memorized, and then that spell is gone once you use it, I don't know if... The source material, something Vance, that's why it's called a Vancian magic system. Somebody told me that years ago. And I think he was maybe a fiction writer? I'm not sure. But I haven't read any of his stuff, so I don't know if his fiction also involves spell components or not, but I just assume they kind of go together. Alright. So, wizard's good to go. End of his turn. No monsters on the board. I can get rid of this token here. Give myself a threat. And dang it, I forgot when they walked in this room to see if a trap would trigger. So we better do that on the way out. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just force myself to do it on just like the first space in the hallway that the Barbarian walks onto. Let's see here. He's gonna go 1, 2, 3. And now let's check here for a trap. What did I say? I've got, oh yeah, a skull or a black shield. Skull or a black shield. Nope, got a white shield. Still no trap. So let's see, he started what, here or something? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's done. Elf up next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. Dwarf. 1, 2. So we need to try and dodge this thing and just not get a skull on a combat die. Nice. All right, so 2, I think we said. 3, 4, 5, 6. Better move my camera here. So that's the dwarf. Oh, wizard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I'll just stop there, otherwise he's going to be forced to go into the pit. Back to... well, first, Zargon gets a threat. Then back to Thundar the Barbarian. 1, 2, 3. You got a black shield, so he's good. 4, 5, 6. Let's see here. That was the Barbarian. Elf. 1, and he... What is his thing? Anything but a black shield, I think? Oh, anything but a white shield. Anything but a white shield. Well, he rolled a white shield. Crap. So he falls in. He's down to 5 body points now. Dwarf. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go 5. Because he's got a crossbow, so I don't want him in front of the door anyway. And around this corner, all we see is a stone wall blocking our path there. Okay, so he's set up and ready to kick the... Well, for the Barbarian to kick the door down. All right, wizard, here we go. 1, 2... Crap! Hey guys, Peter Franson here. Want to play games to save lives? Then join me again this year for Game Save, our annual charity fundraising event in support of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, whose compassionate care and cutting-edge research has been saving the lives of children all over the world for decades. Joining the Game Save team only requires a willingness to ask friends and family to consider donating toward your fundraising efforts. Team members also usually do something fun and game-related to draw attention to their fundraising, like a special game night at your home or church, or like me, you can do a crazy 24-hour video game marathon. Now, I'm theming my fundraising around video games, but you can also use tabletop games if you want. What you do to raise funds is entirely up to you, but by joining the Game Save team, you can get support and encouragement from myself and other team members and have more attention drawn to your fundraising efforts. You can get more information about the origins and heart behind Game Save itself at gamesave.christiangeekcentral.com. To join the team, make an account at tiltify.com, then click on the link below and click Support Campaign. After that, follow the instructions to create your own personal campaign in support of the CGC Team campaign. To help your donors avoid confusion, I recommend using your name and the phrase CGC Game Save 23 as the name of your individual campaign. After that, as team leader beginning in October, I provide team members with weekly tips and resources to make your fundraising as fun, easy, and effective as possible. October is going to be our main push for fundraising, capping things off with my annual 24-hour video gaming live stream on November 4th, although you are welcome to continue fundraising until the end of November 30th, when our official final total will be tallied. If you have any questions before or after signing up, you can reach me anytime at paeter@spiritblade.com. I'm happy to help, and I hope that you'll consider being a part of this with me. I can't wait to get started. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.